Bedfordshire's Police and Crime Commissioner Festus Akinbusoye has actually echoed some of the public's concerns over the ridiculous arrest of 81-year-old Malcolm Emery, who was set upon by Bedfordshire Police's bulldogs. But to be fair, bulldog is probably a bit of a strong word to use, and in fact insults bulldogs. At least a bulldog wouldn't have called back up in a panic because an 81-year-old frail old man confronted them in his garden because they was peeking through his window at 5 a.m. In fact, she was probably more like a hyena. I mean, they don't do much on their own and only seem to attack when in packs. Bed's Police and Crime Commissioner, I'll have to call him that as I can't pronounce his name properly, and we'll end up with several minutes of me just trying, said he had some strong words with Bedfordshire Police Chief Constable Gary Forsyth, although he stopped short of explaining exactly what strong words those were. The PCC said the error here wasn't so much in going to the wrong address, it was the way in which things escalated so quickly, and that's really, really unfortunate. There was an opportunity missed by officers, an error was made, and I'm very, very pleased that Bedfordshire Police has apologised. Oh, such harsh words. Although, with police intelligence systems, and yes, I know, intelligence should not be used in the same sentence as police. However, I'm not talking about them individually, but rather their computer systems, which seems to hold far more information on people than we care to think about, was obviously not used by any of the police who were supposed to have been looking for someone else and not for Mr. Emery, as if it was, they could have identified that they were at the wrong address. So I think going to the wrong address was a major part of the error, as it's that which led to Mr. Emery being assaulted and then police making up stories to try and justify their attack. The Police and Crime Commissioner said the force's apology was necessary, having reviewed what was a situation that could have been handled very differently. I'm really pleased that the force has very swiftly looked into this and not waited entirely for an IOPC investigation recommendations, apologised and taken responsibility and begun the process of making sure the likelihood of this happening again is a lot less. Now, let's be honest here, the police didn't decide to look into the issue out of the kindness of their hearts. They did it because there was such an uproar over the disgusting display of bullying by Bedfordshire Police. Also, let's not forget that even though they offered a half-arsed apology, they certainly didn't do it to take responsibility. Even their apology was littered with blame for Mr. Emery for his part in the assault against him. Deputy Chief Constable Trevor Rodenhurst, oops, there I go again pronouncing his name wrong, Rodenhurst, acknowledged opportunities were missed to de-escalate the situation. He said he was deeply sorry to those involved, which began with a simple case of a mistaken address, but quickly escalated to a point where a man in his 80s has received injuries to his arms as a result of being handcuffed, and an officer has suffered a head injury. Yeah, got to get the head injury in there as well, haven't you? He added, while it is important we allow any review by the IOPC to be carried out before making any further comments, it is also right that we acknowledge where we have got things wrong, and there were opportunities to de-escalate this situation, which were not taken. Isn't it strange how police and crime commissioners never seem to be heard from unless there's an incident that seems to go viral? I mean, these people sit off on a wage of approximately £86,500 a year and are one of the very few people able to hold a chief constable to account, but they never seem to make a peep until something the Police and Crime Commissioner can use to get their few minutes in the press. In fact, I think I'm still waiting to hear of a Police and Crime Commissioner make a Chief Constable step down. And let's face it, there's been plenty of incidents that have warranted a Chief Constable to get the boot. Personally, I think it's about time Police and Crime Commissioners did their fucking jobs.